Welcome to the Protagonist Pub. My name is Tammy. And this is where characters gather. Today, I'm going to try something a little bit different with my book haul. I think I'm going to break it up a little bit. That way, if you're not interested in a section of books, you can skip this video, watch it, find a new author to you who may be interesting or not. So, today, I'm going to do the non-Christian fiction book haul for March of 2023. I don't really differentiate in my head between the two, but I know some of you may not, and it breaks it up into much more reasonable chunks. The Friends of the Library Bookstore has been very good to me this month. I made a lot of very lucky purchases, and all of them thrilled me. So, up first, we'll do my Kindle purchases because digital purchases do count. There were several. They're listed on my computer, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. First up was an Agatha Christie. It is Poirot Investigates. It is a collection of short stories with Poirot as the protagonist. He is my favorite Christie character, so it is unsurprising that that's who I chose. And the short story format is nice. I can read one, use it as a palate cleanser, go read something else, come back, read a Poirot, palate cleanse, go read a different genre. I'm not planning to sit down and read it all at once, but it was a very good price on Kindle. Snagged it right away. Have no regrets. Next up is, and I will put pictures of all of them, like always, Caroline by Sarah Miller. There are 3 of her books I'm very interested in. This one was on sale on Kindle, so I picked it up. It is currently still only $1.99 on Kindle, and I will read you what it says. In this novel, authorized by the Little House Estate, Sarah Miller vividly recreates the beauty, hardship, and joys of the frontier in a dazzling work of historical fiction. A captivating story that illuminates one courageous, resilient, and loving pioneer woman as never before. Caroline Ingalls. Ma and Laura Ingalls' beloved Little House books. She also has one for Marmee from Little Women. And I am interested in all of those. These are... I very much want to read this book. It is... I'm not fitting it in April, but it is sitting there telling me, read me, read me, read me. So, shortly. Next up is Umbra Magic by Christina Herlin. It is the second in the Andromeda Box series. These are independently published. It is available on Kindle for 99 cents. Okay, back to the video. Sorry, one of the neighbors, what looked like one of the next door neighbor's dog went running across my front yard, and I had to go make sure it wasn't Lucy. It wasn't, so we're good. Next up is the second Andromeda Box book by Christina Herlin. This is available on Kindle. It's currently only 99 cents. The first book is Evolutionary Magic. This is young adult fantasy. And the first book is amazing. It is the best explanation for magic I have ever read. That's saying a lot because I've read some very good books with magic in it. Brandon Sanderson immediately springs to mind. The list is endless with Robin Hobb and Sanderson and all the other fantasy books. However, Herland's take on magic and its cause/source is unique and wonderful, and I truly I love that first book. Don't get me wrong, these books are probably best categorized as urban fantasy. They are in no sense high fantasy. These are not big, thick tomes. It's going to take you weeks to get through. These are fast-paced, urban setting, and they are violent for a fantasy book. That being said, they are still very, very good books. The first one blew me away, and I got it as an ARC on NetGalley way back in the day. Finally came across the second book on Kindle. I immediately purchased it, and it is on my list to read this year. I need to read this book. The first book was so good that I can still tell you that it blew me away. So, go support an independent author who writes good, relatable fiction. Or not even relatable, but good fiction. And the last book on my Kindle that I purchased, it's also available on Kindle Unlimited, but I did actually purchase the book. It is incredibly beloved by fantasy booktubers who, read primarily fantasy. Alan at Library of Alexandria, who I will link down below, loves this book. I believe Mike over at Mike's Book Reviews loves this book as well. And that is A Touch of Light by Tiago Abdallah. It is the first in the Ashes of Aberon series. I know the second book released this year or late last year. I'm sorry, the bird is deciding to talk. I haven't read it yet. I want to read it. I know it has a beautiful cover, as you can see from up here. And I will read you the blurb. The worthy are immortal. To die is a sin. But in a tide of madness and ruin, life is a fragile thing. Lynn, a rogue Griffin rider, has uncovered a deadly madness that threatens to destroy the domain. She can't escape this enemy, but to fight it, Lynn must risk being found and branded a traitor by her old order. Prince Adrian has never been pious or on good terms with his father. After losing those closest to him, however, he must either work with the king or convince the church to deem his loved ones worthy if they are to have a chance at resurrection. In the clan lands, where death is considered a necessity, Nasha fights to prove she belongs. A cursed hunter and a lifelong outcast, she has always struggled. But when the land itself begins to wither away, Nasha may not be the only answer. This is epic fantasy. It is adult in nature. And I think it sounds so intriguing. I just haven't been in the mood for epic fantasy. It's one of those books I very much want to read, but I haven't been in the mood for it. And being a mood reader, that means if I pick it up when I'm not in the mood, I'm not going to like it. And I think the book deserves more than that. So I will wait until I'm in the mood, and it will be waiting for me. Editing Tammy, sorry about the change in light. I had to stop filming to handle a situation inside the house and got the light coloration wrong between the first half and the last half of the video. I apologize, but life happens. Okay, continuing on. Say hi, Kahlua. This is the puppy. This is Kahlua. She's a year old now. Not really a puppy anymore, but she still thinks she is. So, next up, physical copies. First two will be historical fiction. First up is Amanda Scott's Boudica. This is a 4-part series, highly recommended by the Brothers Gwyn. I believe the last 2 series Brothers Gwyn have recommended. I haven't enjoyed, so I've only purchased the first book in this series. If I enjoy this one, I will pick up the other 3. It's a little chunky, as you can see, and the writing is not large, so this will be a commitment. But she is one of my favorite historical figures of all time. She is greatly misunderstood. I am hopeful this series lives up to be what I want it to be. So, the back says, at 12, she killed her first warrior. At 21, she defended her land against an invasion by the most powerful empire the world had ever seen. At 40, she led her people in bloody revolt and became a legend. Set in a Britain before the Romans came, Amanda Scott's thrillingly imagined novel brings the brutal world of druids, dreamers, warriors, and their gods to vivid life. The opening chapter in a story of passion, courage, and spectacular heroism pitched against overwhelming odds. Just that back blurb alone so sums up her life that my brain just says, put everything else aside and read this one. Not going to happen, but that's what my brain says. Next up was a library find. I picked this up, and as I was checking out, they said, we are not surprised you got it. It just landed on the shelf, and we had a feeling you would be the one to pick it up. That's The Rose Code by Kate Quinn, and it is in perfect condition. It's got the nicely, the ruffled, feathered pages at the end. It's very tactile. It smells good. It's a beautiful cover. It has been on my, I want to read that list. I am intentionally, it's got, I just need to make a historical fiction month, and that's primarily what I want to read that month. I just don't know when I'm going to do it. I'll read you the front cover. 1940. As England prepares to fight the Nazis, 3 very different women answer the call to a mysterious country estate, Bletchley Park, where the best minds in Britain train to break German military codes. Vivacious debutante Osla has everything: beauty, wealth, and the dashing Prince Philip of Greece sending her roses. But she burns to prove herself as more than a society girl and puts her fluent German to use as a translator of decoded enemy secrets. Imperious self-made Mab, a product of East End London poverty, works the legendary code-breaking machines as she conceals old wounds and looks for a socially advantageous husband. Both Osla and Mab are quick to see the potential in local village spinster Beth, whose shyness conceals a brilliant facility with puzzles, and soon Beth spreads her wings as one of the park's new female crypto-analysts. But war, loss, and the impossible pressure of secrecy will tear the 3 apart. 1947. As the royal wedding of Princess Elizabeth and Prince Philip whips post-war Britain into a fever, the 3 friends turned enemies are reunited by a mysterious encrypted letter, the key to which lies buried in the long-ago betrayal that destroyed their friendship and left one of them confined to an asylum. An enigmatic traitor has emerged from the shadows of their Bletchley Park past, and now Osla, Mab, and Beth must resurrect their old alliance and crack one last code together. But each petal they remove from the Rose Code brings danger, and their true enemy closer. Sign me up? No, seriously, sign me up. Yeah, I need a historical fiction month. Okay, moving on to contemporary romance. I'll do the contemporary romantic suspense first. Labyrinth by Catherine Coulter. Again, another library find. All the rest of these are library finds. This is part of the FBI series. It is undoubtedly a typical Catherine Coulter. This one was published in 2019. There will be no or very mild language, but it will not be what I would consider a sweet, clean read. It will definitely have some steamy scenes, but that's okay. If they bother me, I skip over them. They don't detract from Catherine Coulter's writing ability or her ability to make compelling characters and a compelling storyline. She's very good at it, actually. I'll read you the back. On a Tuesday afternoon, Agent Sherlock is driving in downtown Washington when her Volvo is suddenly T-boned at an intersection. As her car spins out of control, a man's body slams against her windshield, and then blackness. When she fully regains consciousness in the hospital, she is told about the accident and the man she struck. No one knows who he is or where he is because he ran away. From the DNA, they discover his name is Justice Cummings, and he's a CIA analyst at Langley. And he's still missing. Meanwhile, in the small town of Gaffers Ridge, Virginia, Special Agent Griffin Hammersmith rescues Carson De Silva, a kidnapped woman claiming her captor had probably murdered 3 missing teenage girls. However, the man she accuses is the local sheriff's nephew and a member of a very powerful family, reputed to have special powers. When the sheriff arrests Griffin and Carson, Griffin calls Agent Savage for help. Together, they have to weave their way through a labyrinth of lies to find the truth about a terrible secret. I'm here for this. If it's anything like her previous FBI thriller books, I will read this in a day or two, be very happy, have a slight book hangover, and want more. Next up is Summer by the Sea by Jenny Hale. This I found this week at the Friends of the Library book sale. Like every physical book except the Boudica book, all of these were from the library book sale. This is a contemporary, it's labeled women's fiction, so we'll see. I'll read you the back. Faith will never forget that one summer she found her first love. She thought they would be together forever. Only her younger sister Casey to steal the man of her dreams. Faith and Casey have been estranged ever since, but at the request of their grandmother, Faith agrees to a family reunion. Both sisters will spend the summer at the beach where their feud began. Faith hasn't seen Casey in years, but she spent too long holding on to the pain of her sister's betrayal. She's finally ready to forget, if not forgive, old hurt and enjoy the sunshine in what was once her favorite place in the world. What she's not ready for is her unexpected chemistry with Jake Buchanan, the present-day owner of her beloved beach house, or the feelings he ignites in her. Hello, Kahlua. But to make this summer one to remember, Faith will need to learn to open her heart and rekindle the bond she and Casey once shared. It sounds like a great beach read. It sounds like something I want to read when I'm sitting outside on the back patio while the dogs are playing, like they're doing now, and this, it's warm, and it's just one of those beach read books. It's got that vibe for me. The last 2 books in this haul are both by Barbara Taylor Bradford. They're both hardcover. And the first one is A Sudden Change of Heart. I knew nothing about these books when I grabbed them. They were hardcover. They looked intriguing, and thus I grabbed them. I will read you the inside cover. It's the first time I'm reading it too. Laura Valiant and Claire Benson are best friends from childhood and have remained exceptionally close through the turmoil of adult life. They have much to celebrate. Laura is a partner in a challenging and successful art dealership in New York, and her marriage to the handsome and always amiable Doug seems to come right from a storybook. Though divorced from her French husband, Philippe Lavillard, Claire delights in their precocious daughter, Natasha. But the two friends' lives do not follow the paths we imagine they will, and when Claire is confronted with sudden tragedy, she naturally turns to Laura for help. When the long-hidden history of the Lavillard family intersects with Laura's investigation into artwork stolen by the Nazis during the war, Barbara Taylor Bradford's gripping tale reaches a dramatic and unexpected crescendo. I'm intrigued. Art investigation, Nazis. Yeah, I'm here for it. The second one is Where You Belong. Again, it's got one of those covers that say Take Me Home. I'll read you the inside flap. I haven't read this before either. A talented young American photographer, Valentine Denning, leaves behind the comforts of her home in Paris to record the war in Kosovo from the front lines. Drawn together by the perils of war photojournalism, Val and one of her colleagues, the British Tony Hampton, find themselves in the throes of a romance that is tragically cut short when Val, Tony, and their American colleague Jake Newberg are caught in a nightmarish ambush. When Val wakes up in a Belgrade hospital, she learns that Tony had died. Later, when she and Jake attend Tony's memorial service in London, Val's memories of Tony are gravely shaken by the realization that throughout their relationship he had lied, telling her that he was divorced. Reeling from his death and betrayal, Val and Jake return home to Paris, where they recover from their wounds and try to make sense of Tony's lies to both of them. As they begin to build a relationship and leave the events of the war behind them, Jake confesses his longtime love for her. But for Val, peace with herself is elusive as she tries to reconcile her love of photography with the perils of her career, not to mention the claims on her heart. The desire for a fresh new beginning leads her to trade the grueling world of war photojournalism for a glamorous position as a photographer of celebrities, which lands her in Mexico, snapping the dashing Alexander St. Just Stevens, born Bill Smith in Leeds, England, an artist of international renown whose reputation as a playboy doesn't steel him against the powerful attraction to Val. Finding a new mode of photojournalism and a new admirer still can't ease her sense of searching for something, a sense that will lead her to retrace paths she thought were left behind. This sounds like a very interesting and globe-hopping book. Again, I need to read this. I say that far too often lately, don't I? So, those are my March 2023 secular book hauls. I got a decent variety. I got historical, I got contemporary romance, I got a fantasy novel, I got a Christie. Life is good. I'm happy. What did you pick up to read this month? Leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and I will see you here next time at the Protagonist Pub.